I'm Alexander Pezo, and this is Elevate Your Worth. Elevate Your Worth is an empowering podcast and YouTube show. I'll engage with individuals who have wholeheartedly pursued their passion, often against the odds, and have carved out their unique paths to success. Leveraging my diverse background in sports, corporate leadership, entrepreneurship, and design, I look forward to helping individuals tell their story that may never have been heard before. You're listening to the Elevate Your Worth podcast with my special guest, Marquis Keke Hicks of the Keke for Real Youth Basketball and Development Program. Great mentor, great former player, great friend, great father and husband. So now we go to what's next. Like every young kid that's played the game of basketball, and most of us that have been top 100 kids growing up in the inner city, what do we all want to do? We all want to go play in the NBA, right?
Yes.
So you come out there, they had gone to 2 rounds of the draft, right?
Yes. Yes.
And had you hired an agent?
Yes, I had an agent.
Had an agent. They're projecting you're going to be what?
They projected me either late first round, undrafted, or Europe. That because I went to the Chicago. I was got invited to the top 75 in the Chicago pre-draft camp. And so at the end of the camp, everybody get a scouting report, and my scouting report said late second round to undrafted to Europe.
Okay, so take me through the draft. You're sitting there on draft night. You're probably with your family or with your lady friend or in Conway with your crew. Take me through it.
Yeah, it was just me and the young lady I was dating at the time. And and my agent told me that I may or may not be picked late, you know what I mean? But I would definitely get some calls to be able to come and have a chance to try to make the team or be on the CBA team. That's what he said for my draft team. Draft CBA or Europe. Late second round CBA or Europe. I'm sorry.
So you didn't hear your name called, right?
Yeah, do not hear my name called, but I got some calls from several different teams, and I had to decide, which camps where I felt like I had a better chance to make the team to go. But then that year I came out, I didn't get a chance to do what most of the guys get a chance to do, which is play on the summer league team and have a chance to prove yourself that way too, because they had a lockout the year I came out, and that really hurt guys like me.
Yeah, that was a lockout year. Was that a shortened season year too? Was that the 50-game season?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, 50-game season. I think that's the year the Spurs ended up winning it. After the lockout, right? That might have been Tim Duncan's first one and David Robinson's first, because Duncan was on that team by that time, right?
Okay. I think so. I'm not sure. I just know it was a lockout, and I didn't get to go and play in the summer league, and I felt like I would have been good.
So that hurt you because that would have helped you, right?
Yeah, that definitely would have helped, man, because I did pretty good at the Chicago camp.
Yeah, listen, you can shoot that ball, man. Still at 50 plus, you can still shoot that thing. And if you don't currently follow him, go to Keke for Real on social media. It's Marquis Hicks. Pull him up. Phenomenal shooter, but more importantly, a phenomenal teacher of the game. Currently trains, and I'll let you talk about some of the kids you train and some of the NBA lineages that you're tied to, and so on and so forth. So now we end up playing in Hamburg, Germany, Moscow, Russia, Ukraine, Spain. Take me through some of those countries that you had the opportunity to play. Sitting back, getting those 3 per diems a day. You're living off your per diem. You can stack a little side pocket change and bring it back in the States tax-free. I'm just being silly. Take me through that, man.
Yeah, well, my favorite place was Hamburg, Germany. I feel like I learned a lot. I made a name for myself there. And, one thing I'll tell people about Europe is I was able to adjust to pretty much anything over in Europe. The most money was Russia.
Right.
I couldn't really adjust, and I'm a person that can really adjust. It was just too hard to be there.
It's tough.
In Russia, yeah, man, it's tough. The food, I was losing weight. I'm already not a big guy. It just did not work out, man. It was a high level team too, but I couldn't eat the food, the culture. For example, like if I'm in the hotel room, instead of a coach calling and say, "Hey, Key, we're going to be downstairs at 8 o'clock." They may just come in your room and pull you.
So let's just say you got 5.5, 6 years in total overseas,
Yes,
right? Great
not
experience.
not like it should have been, but about 5.
Hey, hey, you got the experience, made you some pocket change. Listen, you did better over there than you probably would have going into your first job coming back in the States. So
Oh,
no
absolutely.
nobody
Oh, yeah, definitely,
so,
definitely.
so that listen, that's a great way to start your life, right?
Yes, yes, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I don't regret any of that.
We move forward, we get back to the States, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And we navigate into coaching, right?
Right. Hmm.
And one of the things I've always said, we always wonder as former players that have had a great career, why the young white guy who was the equipment manager or the director of basketball ops ended up being an assistant coach prior to us. Because when we were chasing playing professional ball, they were chasing, hey man, I just want to be the video guy. I just want to
Hmm.
be the part-time guy, the restricted earnings guy. I want to be the director of basketball ops. And they continue to move up. And as they move up, we come back and we got to start at the bottom, right?
Yes, absolutely,
Because they were
absolutely.
stacking days and we were trying to stack opportunities,
Right,
right?
right.
So you come back, you get into coaching. Take me through where you were at first.
The first place I was at was Georgia Tech. I had one of my friends who's been in the coaching game for a long time. He started out right out of college, like you said. And so Chad Dollar, good friend of mine,
Yep.
he's actually from your home city now. It's the University
He's
of
he's, he's
Cincinnati.
coaching with Wes at
Yes,
Cincinnati. Yep.
yes. And so he was on the staff, the associate head coach at Georgia Tech at the time. And he asked me if I wanted an opportunity to coach. I'd already been coaching, some high school and doing some AAU stuff, but never at
Yep.
that level.
Was Brian Gregory the head coach at that time?
Yes, sir. He agreed to let me on the staff, and I actually learned a lot from him, not just basketball, but a lot of things outside of basketball,
Yep.
because he had been in the military and everything, man. So he has certain ways, about work ethic and things of that nature. And so like I said, man, I learned a lot. He gave me a lot of responsibilities when I was there. And like a lot of the things that I do now with the training, my base, other than what I knew on my own, came from what I learned from there, mixed with everything else that I already knew from other great coaches. And
Yep.
just being able to deal with, some guys on that level, being able to
Yeah.
train them, see how they, work, and just, I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot.
Yeah. So it was always for me. It was a pleasure watching BG Brian Gregory come up under Izzo. He's from under that Izzo tree, going from working with Izzo. I remember he was at Michigan State with Izzo, then getting the head coaching job at Dayton, then taking the job at Dayton and catapulting that into getting the head job at Georgia Tech. Right. You had an
Right,
opportunity to train under that Izzo tree, so to speak.
right.
So you do that for how many years?
I did that for 3 seasons, from 12 to 15.
And then at some point in time, something inside of you said, and that's why part of why I started this platform. It's to interview CEOs, entrepreneurs, coaches, but more importantly, individuals that bet on themselves, right?
Right,
So in
right.
2015, you're working at Georgia Tech, you're in the ACC, you decide what?
I just wanted to have more of an impact. And in college, as a coach on the assistant coach and a coach on the staff, it's you don't really get to have the impact that I personally wanted to have with the
Right.
guys. It's really up to you to, everybody have certain assignments on the team. Like I may be responsible for 4 guys. Another coach may be responsible for 4 guys. We got to try to pour into the guys and things like that. But it's more politics. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I just felt like I can have more of an impact and I can still make really good money if I do some things on my own. Also, one of the biggest reasons was that I just had my daughter at the time, and coaches on that level, a lot of levels, you don't get a lot of time at home to spend with your family. And so I felt like, the more I move up the ladder, I may it's a great chance that I'm gonna end up having to move out of the city of Atlanta and move other places. You know, coaches, college coaches move around a lot.
You become a
And
vagabond, or you're that guy that. So when we came out, I'll throw out a couple names. So Perry Clark,
mm-hmm,
Rudy Washington. Rudy
mm-hmm,
Washington was under that Tom Davis.
mm-hmm,
He was under his tree. Then you
right,
had Perry Clark, who was under Bobby Cremins' tree. You
right,
had Wade Houston, who was under Denny Cremins' tree. Those guys were known as recruiters, right?
right.
We're gonna be honest about college basketball coming from the 80s to the 90s into that time in the 2000s. Most
Mm-hmm.
black coaches were known as recruiters. They
Yes,
weren't known as individuals that could teach the game of basketball, right?
absolutely.
I even throw Bob Eskew in that, who I coached, who I played under Eskew. Hey, here's the credit card. Go out on the road, bring us some players, let us coach them, and you'll talk to them about their problems. But when it comes to X's and O's, you won't be that guy.
Right,
Correct me if I'm wrong.
absolutely. That was a problem for me, man. I kind of I didn't appreciate that part. And then even when I started going on my own, I had another coach from the Georgia Tech staff that helped me get another job from a coach. I won't say the school, but the coach
Yeah,
called me.
absolutely.
Yeah, we talked on the phone, and he pretty much told me, and I appreciate his honesty because I was actually thinking about it, but I wasn't sure. But
Right.
he just flat out told me all he was gonna need me to do was to go get the players. So that's saying to me that he's gonna do all the coaching and I'll do all the recruiting. I'm not cool with that, man, because I love basketball. I want to teach
Right.
too. I want to coach too. You know what I'm saying? That's why I appreciate Coach Gregory for giving me the opportunity to work with the guys some and be able to implement some of my own stuff to help the program. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
You
But
learned a lot, but you also learned that you had more that you could give and pour into to the youth, to help
yes,
them build and scale their game. Because when
yes.
you think about, one of the things I've always said, when you look at how many kids play the game of basketball on a
Mhm.
collegiate level, the sparing numbers and the disparity between kids that play the game and coaches that teach the game, it's ludicrous, to be quite
Right.
honest with you. The numbers are
Yes, it
crazy.
is.
But
Yes.
I take that back to the 70s and 80s, where the black coach that was on his staff was to go get players,
Yes.
not to teach the game. So
Yes.
then that morphs into the next generation of, hey, we'll let you coach a little, teach a little bit, but you got to go get us players if you want to do that. It was almost like a
Yes.
trade barter. Because when you
Yes.
think about it, a lot of those coaches get their first head coaching job and they struggle with the infrastructure of how to build a program, but more importantly, how to teach the kids the game at a high level and
Right.
maintain that position. If you go look at the numbers, which I don't have those in front of me, those numbers are alarming. Would you agree
Right.
or disagree?
Oh no, I agree, man. And I feel like now, I feel fulfilled in the game of basketball because I feel like I have a much bigger impact on much more kids at different levels and different ages than I would have ever had at the college level, man. And I get a chance to make my own schedule, be here for my daughter. I make good money and I don't have to spend my whole day at an office or at practice, man. Like you do not get a lot of time at home because being in college
The
basketball, it
work-life
requires
balance is not there.
life balance is not even close to being there. And
Right.
so I was thinking about it yesterday, man. I was just like, man, thank you, God. I really appreciate, where I am now. I appreciate it, man. I don't wish for anything. Actually, I was telling somebody if somebody came and offered me a dream college coaching job, and this is no lie, like them boys like to say, no cap, serious. If
Right.
somebody offered me, you would have to pay me about 3 or 4 times the amount of money I'm making now because my time is going to be gone. And that's become so valuable to me that I feel like, it's not a lot of it's not a money you really can't buy that anymore, man. And my daughter, she would appreciate me more this way, making a way on my own. I appreciate being able to make my own way and do what I love to do. at the same time. This is far, far better for me.
Correct. And also keep this in mind too, and I said this on another edition, um, that fathers, we love our daughters, and for those of
Hmm.
us that are blessed enough, we raise our sons.
Hmm.
And there's nothing like being on the road and your daughter asking you, when will you be home? Right.
Right,
And you not have the ability and the autonomy coaching at a school to control that time.
right.
Now
Especially
you
coaching somewhere where I don't get to really be my authentic self.
right, there you go. And you become the watered down version of who you need to be and not who you were meant to be. Now you
Exactly.
get to be who you were meant to be, right?
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
what I love about it. Talk to how many kids you train, some of the
Hmm.
kids you've had the ability to train, and
Hmm.
some of the lineage that they come from, and what this program has not only done for you and changed your life, but how you've been able to change the lives of a lot of young men, of different walks in life. More
Right.
importantly, black and brown young men that may not even ever have this opportunity if you not hadn't started this program.
Right. Yeah, I feel great about it, man, because for me, I always explain to people that it's about more than just basketball. A lot of guys, they're chasing top players. If a top player come in my gym, great. I feel great about it. That's fine. I want to help them with their future if they have a chance to be a big time player or possibly even a pro. But for me, that's not the mark. The mark for me is any kid that come in here, I'm going to try to figure out who they are and how I can help them, not just on the basketball court, but in their life. It's like a mentoring program and a basketball skills program to be able to help them and impact their lives. Because, people say coaches affect, more lives in 1 year than most people do in a lifetime. I believe that, man, because, sometimes kids won't listen to nobody, but they'll listen to their coach. And so, I
Yeah.
have their ear. I'm able to help them. I always make sure I tell them that I was a kid that had to walk to the gym. I had to catch the bus. I had my
You tell
coach
them those
have to
stories they
come.
think are ancient.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yes, they have to come and get me, man. You
Yeah.
guys got nice parents, bring you to the gym. They're paying for your training. Like I said, they're getting you here. And I tell them, if I go and ask your parent, if you told them thank you for bringing you, if you didn't tell them thank you for bringing you here, I'm going to run you. You know what I'm saying? Because we all have a job to do. It's my
So you
job to
teaching
help.
them life lessons.
Yes, man.
I love
Make you
that.
better.
I love that,
It's your,
man.
I just tell them, my job is to help you get better. Your job is to come in here and work your butt off, and your parents have already done their job. They got you here and they paid for you, and you're going to respect them, and you're going to respect me, and you're going to respect yourself. And I just think these are things that they can carry with them throughout their life, not just what they learned from me on the basketball court, things they learned that can help them in life skills, man, like you said.
Absolutely. So about how many kids do you currently train?
Good ballpark for this time of year, probably about 30 or 40. But
Okay.
during the peak season, about 50. During
50
peak
kids.
season, yeah, in the summertime and
That's a
overall,
nice that's a nice steady flow.
700.
And and you know what? For a guy like yourself that's very detailed oriented, you don't want
Mhm.
many more than that. That's a great
No,
number. That's a great
yes,
number.
man.
To run the
Yeah.
business the right way and make sure that the kids you're pouring into each kid the way that you want to.
Right. Yeah, I emphasize that's I'm glad you said that, man. Give me a chance to elaborate on that for a second. I
Absolutely.
try my best, man, not to have too many kids in one session because, like you said, I like to give them my full attention, and if I have too many kids, even if I do, like because I have a lot of kids on monthly programs, and so I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure how many are going to show up, but if more than I think should be in there show up, I make sure I give good direction and I split it up. That way we use two or three baskets. That way, because it's about them getting reps. I see a lot of guys that
Stacking
have kids coming
days
to the gym
and
don't
not
get the
making it a
reps.
money grab.
Yes, no, it's not a money grab, man. I have to make money because this is what I do for a living, but it is completely not a money grab for me. I feel like God's going to bless me if I'm doing the right thing. And the right thing is to pour into the kids the way I'm supposed to, give them my undivided attention, not be on the cell phone while I'm in there, not doing nothing else except giving them my full attention.
Key, I call it the 3R approach. Do the right
Mhm.
thing for the right reason to get the right results. And
Yes.
when you do that, what's meant for you will happen for you. as long
Mhm.
as you take care of what you need to do for the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
So in knowing that, 30 to 40, peak about 50, you took it a next level, man, and you went to 94 feet a game and going out
Mhm.
there with Phil Handy, the Lakers
Mhm.
assistant, who I think should is prime and ready to take over an NBA program, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because of all of his knowledge. He actually played at the University of Hawaii, going back
Yeah, I
to
saw that. I saw
yeah,
that. He was, I think he came the year after we played because I looked that up. I was like, man, I might have played against Bill, man.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think he came
Phil played at
afterwards.
Hawaii. And
Mhm.
away from that, man, a great individual skills developer. He's worked with some of everybody, you name it, LeBron. He's worked with
Mhm.
Isaiah Thomas, the Washington left-handed NBA first teamer,
Mhm.
Isaiah Thomas, before he hurt his hip. I hate that, man, because I tell you what, he was a phenomenal under 6 foot player.
Yes.
And that just derailed his career, in my opinion. Um, but you've had the opportunity to go out there and get the Phil Handy certification, man. Speak to me about working side by side with Phil and how that led you to starting your own certificate program here in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I have a lot of respect for Coach Handy, man, because as great as he is, and for all the great players he's worked with, like you said, LeBron, Kobe, Kyrie, Isaiah, and a ton of other NBA players. The thing I like about Phil is his attitude. You know what I mean? He's humble, man. He don't carry the ego. That's the first thing I noticed about him, man. Other than the skills that he teaches and all that, he's a humble guy. He cares about the game of basketball. He makes everybody feel welcome, and he's thankful for the blessing to be able to work in this game of basketball. And that's the thing that I respect about him the most, man. He treats you like he knew you already. You know what I'm saying? I know he have a lot of people, coming up to him and in his face, man.
Yeah,
But just a great guy, man. And I,
he's a
I
genuine
respect
guy.
that. Yes, man. I respect
Yep.
that more than I do his basketball knowledge.
Yep. So, man, I tell you something that has always stuck with me throughout our friendship, Keke,
Hmm.
was when you went out there to LA, you were so excited. And I
Hmm.
don't know how many people you called, but I know you reached out to me. You didn't just
Hmm.
reach out to me to tell me you were going out there, and that
Hmm.
meant a lot to me. But something that is near and dear to you, and I think a guy that is your favorite player in Kobe Bean Bryant,
Hmm.
right? When you went
Hmm.
out there to Black Mamba, you
Hmm.
made you made sure that you went to the area where the plane unfortunately came down, and you shared that with me, man. And I
Hmm.
still have that in my phone to this day.
Hmm.
I still, and
Hmm.
I know that touches you, man. I
Yep.
still have in my phone the video that you sent me making it to that landmark where those folks unfortunately lost their lives in Paris
Hmm.
in that helicopter ride. Tell me a little bit about that. I know that I can tell that touches you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I love Kobe, man. Man, that was yeah. When I was there, on the way, once I rented my car from LAX, once I got off the airport, I rented the car. So, I didn't know this was gonna happen. So I was driving there, and as I was getting to Thousand Oaks, where we're gonna have the Feel Handy event at, I was looking to the side, and I was like, man, this looked like where Kobe might have had his accident at. So it made me curious because it just looked familiar from the pictures I had been seeing, just the hills and all that. So when I got to the hotel, I Googled it, Kobe crash site, and I realized it was 13 minutes from where my hotel was. And I
Wow.
knew that, and I knew that Kobe was on his way to where we had the event at. I did know
Correct.
that because he was on his way his daughter's going to play in the AAU at that same facility where we had it at. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. It was at a place called Dog Park or something like that. So I went there and I had said that if I get there and nobody's there, I'm not gonna go because they said it was a mile walk up the hill, a little
Right.
bit over a mile walk. So I get there, there's not but one other car there, and they're not doing the walk. So I was a little nervous about it.
Right.
I said, man, I didn't came this far. So I started on the trail. I started walking, man. It got pretty scary, man. I got up there. There were two other people up there, two Kobe fans. up there, man. And I promise you, man, it was a surreal feeling just to be in that spot, man. Because I've been to games where Kobe played. I've seen him play his
Yep.
whole career, but I never got a chance to meet him. But to be there, man,
Yep.
it was weird, man. But I'm really happy that I did it, man.
One of the things that I like to speak to, and this is me, you didn't ask me to do this, is
Mhm,
your impact and influence, right? You're well
mhm,
known throughout Atlanta and other states.
mhm, mhm,
Um, but I was thinking, what does Keke Hicks mean to Atlanta and Georgia basketball? And I said impact and influence. Marquis Keke Hicks leverages his extensive playing and training experience to inspire and develop youth athletes. Through his academy, he not only focuses on basketball skills, but also emphasizes the importance of education, discipline, and personal growth. His
mhm,
background as a player and trainer enables him to provide valuable insights and guidance to aspiring basketball players. So when I
mhm.
think of you, that's what I think.
No, I appreciate that, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate that, my
So
brother. Thank you, man.
So in knowing that we spoke with about Kobe, where I was going with that was because Kobe has perished and since left us. And I can still remember where I was when two events took place.
Mhm,
When Magic Johnson announced in November, I think of '91, that he
mhm,
had contracted the HIV virus, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
Magic was my favorite player. That was my hero, right?
He my second
Uh,
favorite player.
I wore, listen, man, I wore the big long knee pads like Magic. I threw the no look like Magic. You know what I'm saying? I shot it a little bit better than Magic, but man, that was my guy. That was my
Yes,
guy.
I
And
love
and I
Magic
had
too,
the
man.
opportunity to meet Magic
Oh,
one time.
wow.
Yeah, so surreal moment. I'm picking up someone off of a flight in Nashville. I'm living in Nashville. Magic is flying in, and he and this doctor were going to speak at a conference at Vanderbilt.
Mhm,
And I walked over to the limo and I see this big tall guy and I said, man, that's Magic. And I said, listen, man, I know he's coming to get in your vehicle, but I would be remiss if I didn't go say hello, man. That's my favorite player of all time, still to this day.
mhm, mhm.
I think when you think about the game of basketball, we have our forefathers and founding fathers, and then we
Mhm.
have Magic and Larry that saved the game. We have
Yes,
Michael that took the game to the next level. And then we
yes.
have players that came behind them that just have
Mhm,
done wonders with what they left, right?
mhm, mhm.
So, my question for you, good brother, is who are your top five, dead or alive?
I got I got Magic. Of course, I got MJ.
Yep.
I got I got Kobe,
Yep.
Magic, Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, and ugh, I probably would say either Larry Bird or Akeem Olajuwon. You take your pick.
I tell you what, man, I love that top five. You didn't ask me, but I'm gonna tell you if I had to put together a top five,
Mhm,
of course I'm going with Magic at the point, right?
mhm, mhm.
I know you're gonna think I'm crazy. I can't have MJ and Kobe on the team together. So
Yeah, I
I'm
got
going,
you.
I'm going Kobe. I'm going
Okay.
Kobe. Here's why I'm going Kobe. I think Kobe got more, they say you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip.
Mhm.
Kobe is probably one of the first players and the only player to squeeze blood out of a turnip. We could find a
Yes,
couple
man.
more, but Kobe got everything out of his body. And
Yes, he
I'll
did.
never forget Kobe Bryant tearing his Achilles, which I have had that injury, and Kobe moving guys away, don't pick me up, walked to the free throw line, made the free throws on a ruptured Achilles, and then walked off the court. Right?
Man,
I
Kobe's special,
still,
man.
I still will never forget him scoring 60 in his last appearance
Oh my God, that was so
and
great, man.
dropping the mic and saying Mamba out. Boom.
Yeah,
Right?
man. Yes, man.
So
Yes,
I got
man.
Magic at the one, I got Kobe at the two, right? At the
Mhm.
three, most people are never going to agree, but I think he's the greatest, most efficient scorer of all time, and that's Kevin Durant. You go
Okay.
look at you go look at 90, 50, 40. it's only been done, I think, 9 times in the game of basketball. He's done
Mm-hmm.
it 2. He's done it
Mm-hmm.
2. As
Can't
a
argue
guy
with that.
that's 6'10", 6'11", the way he can score the basketball, we're not talking leadership. We're not talking going to Golden State. We're talking pure skill, the essence of the game.
Right.
Um, at my 4, I'm going to insert Kareem due to his footwork,
Yeah.
which
Kareem.
means Larry Bird and Jordan coming off my bench, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
going the best at their skill. And number
Mm-hmm.
5, in my opinion, still the greatest player to ever play the game of basketball is Lou Alcindor, aka
Mm-hmm.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes.
6 championships,
Yes, man.
19 All-Star appearances.
Yes.
Think about it. He won 3 national championships. They changed the rule in basketball so he couldn't play as a freshman, and the
Mm-hmm.
freshman team would beat the varsity at UCLA. He was at Power Memorial. He was a winner there. I think he only lost 2 games there. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you think about it, LeBron broke his record in more games,
Right.
shooting 3s and 2s, and Kareem held that record, and all he ever shot was 2s, and somebody had to get him the ball.
Right. I'm not sure why they never called Kareem the GOAT. I mean, is that a
Kareem is the
publicity
GOAT.
thing?
It's called
Yes, man.
propaganda. It's called popularity
Yes.
contest. Kareem
Yes.
is not a people person, if we're going to be honest about it.
Right. Right. That's what
He
I
doesn't
think it is.
campaign for what he believes in. Right?
Yes, man.
And another reason I give it to Kareem not only was a great basketball player, but if you go back and look at video from the civil rights movement, outside of seeing the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings of the world, you would see Bill Russell, you would see Kareem, you would see Jim Brown. So those guys were servant leaders because they decided to put aside their own best interest and careers for the betterment of a race of people. I never saw
Yes,
that in
man.
Jordan, and there were some others I never saw that in. But that's my
Right.
5 right there. Bird, I'm sorry, man. You still my guy, but you got to come off the bench. I got to insert KD over you.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
So
The
listen, man.
reason why I kind of picked Bird, because I thought about LeBron, but the reason why I kind of picked Bird because of what he did for the game.
What he did for the game. I love Bird.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Hick from French Lick, as they once called it.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Well,
Listen,
man.
brother, I tell you what, man, this has been phenomenal.
Mhm.
I love celebrating your experience. I love celebrating your accomplishments. But more importantly, man, I just think you're a genuinely good brother.
I appreciate that, man. I feel the same way about you, my brother.
And then listen, man, I know we couldn't get you in person, but we're gonna get you in studio. We call it the Pezo Lounge. We're gonna get you in the Pezo Lounge to shoot the next time, but we're gonna do it this way this time. But again, you are listening to Elevate Your Worth. I'm Alexander Pezo. This is my special guest, Marquis Keke Hicks. Keke for real. Keke Youth Basketball and Development Camp. Keke, tell them where they can find you on social media.
At Keke Hicks for real. KekeHicks Hicks, the number 4 REAL. Keke for real. Keke Hicks for real.
And I'll say this in closing: if you have, I love it, just like on the sweatshirt. If you have a youth basketball player that you not only want someone to develop them, but you want someone to pour into them, and you don't reach out to Keke Hicks. My mom used to say this: if you don't have the ability to do it yourself, I would be remiss if I didn't get you a mentor. This is the right guy. Alexander Pezo, Keke Hicks. For my producer, Connects Media, we just want to thank you. Keke, we appreciate you. Everybody have a great night. Till the next time, take care. For more episodes of Elevate Your Worth, please like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow I Am Alexander Pezo on all social media platforms.